Good morning, church. It's Tuesday, April 15th, and we find ourselves in the midst of another day of Holy Week. I wanted to take this week and encourage you in this time of Holy Week. And so what I'm hoping to do is that each and every day of Holy Week to come and share with you a little bit of what Jesus was doing during Holy Week. We know about Maundy, Thursday because we celebrate it every year. We know about Good Friday, and of course, what was happening in that tomb on Saturday, and then of course, the resurrection on Sunday. But sometimes we don't think about that earlier part of the week. Yesterday, Monday, of course, in Scripture, we learned that this is the time when Jesus turns over the tables and speaks to the money changers in the temple. But today, on Tuesday, what we find is that Jesus continues his ministry. Even during that week of Holy Week, even though knowing what was coming, he continued to minister. He continued to encourage his disciples and to speak to the people. And today on this Holy Tuesday, we learn of the story of Jesus cursing the barren fig tree, talking about faith, confronting the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And so I just wanted to encourage you today to really be thinking during this week about what Jesus was doing each and every day. Today, it's about faith. Our faith, he goes on in Matthew, and he talks about the idea of if you have the faith of a mustard seed, or you can look at the mountain and say, move, and it will move. And so today, on this Holy Tuesday, our word is faith. Faith that even though in the midst of the trials that are to come for Jesus, he continues in his ministry. And that's what I want to encourage you to do today as well. Knowing that Maundy, Thursday is coming and we celebrate that time of Jesus with his disciples at the Passover. And of course, the terrible time that and what he goes through in the garden, and then of course his subsequent arrest, and the events of the Passion, and then his crucifixion. I want you to be able to keep your faith, that even in the midst of your trials, no matter what's going on during Holy Week, the things that you're struggling with, the things that might be heavy on your heart, the things that are weighing you down, Holy Week teaches us, especially today, hold on to that faith, that even in the darkness, the light is coming. That glorious sunrise that we celebrate on Easter morning, that Jesus has risen. I want to encourage you in that today. I also want to take this time to remind you some of the services that we have coming up on Thursday, April 17th. We'll have our Maundy, Thursday. It will be at Emmanuel. It's at 6 p.m. And if you've never been to a Maundy, Thursday service, I would encourage you to take the time to make the drive, to come and join us at Emmanuel for the Maundy, Thursday service as we remember the time when Jesus speaks to his disciples, when we are reminded and given that commandment to love one another, to share that agape meal, and to celebrate the Lord's Supper. And then on Friday, April 18th at 7 p.m., at church here in Cheraw at East Holbrook, we'll be having our Good Friday service, inviting the community to be a part of that. That's at 7 p.m. And then, of course, on Sunday morning, as we celebrate at the church our sunrise service and the breakfast, and then gather together at 11 a.m. to celebrate that Resurrection Sunday, that Easter morning, when Jesus comes from that tomb and defeats death. And so I really want to continue to encourage you each and every day of this Holy Week. Today, again, it's about faith. It's about being in the midst of darkness and being able to believe that Jesus is the light. So as we go through this Holy Week, may you be blessed. I am praying for you this Holy Week. I'm praying that your faith will remain strong, that in the ups and downs of what is to come this week, that we'll be able to keep our eyes fixed on Jesus. So I'm hoping to see you at as many of our services as we have this week, and that indeed you will be filled with faith. So until we meet again, have a blessed Holy Week. God bless.